okay. Usually the person talks to us. All right. So Justin has come in with an agenda, which I told him that I love. I love agendas. Um, but we decided to wait to see, sort of let the others, come in who are going to be here, and the others are here. So, given that there's, four of us, maybe a little check-in, um, before we jump right into, naming agendas or what the meeting is going to be about. Yeah, let everybody land a moment. So, um, yeah, I can start. So I'll start. All is well with me. I think, yeah, the biggest thing I'm sort of walking in with today is like literally like walking, doing that. I mean, for my life, I walk every day, right? And I had this shoulder surgery, and so it was, more than 6 weeks, just holed up in my room. And then all of a sudden, 2 days ago, the weather turned, and now I'm just like, okay, I'm going out and walking outside every day. So it's a lovely thing. Um, yeah, yeah. So that's how I'm doing. Anybody else like to check in?
Are you gonna popcorn it?
I think let's popcorn it. Yeah. But you just talked, Christine, so now you have to go.
Fine. Yeah, so I'm Christine. Based in Australia, so I haven't met you, Natalie, before, but I actually did see you on a recording from like, I don't know how long ago, but a long time back in the HSC archives, when I first started, yeah, to get involved. So it's interesting and it's good to meet you. Um, I am good. Yep. I sent a video to Rob yesterday of the empty shelves here that like since the cyclone there's just like nothing at the shops. It's sort of like pretty unbelievable. Luckily we have a lot of food stored up, or enough anyway, hopefully. And yeah, it's just one of those things that you see and it's kind of a shock, and then you try to talk to people and just make sense of that. Like people at the shops were all like chit-chatting and kind of expressing. Yeah, so that's probably the wildest thing that's happened in the last couple of days. But other than that, I'm excited about work and excited about the Catalyst launch. So yeah, I hope we can do some good work on that today, if possible. And I'll popcorn it to Natalie.
Well, thank you, Christine. Yeah, that's so funny seeing me on recordings uh of HSC past. And yeah, nice to see new folks circulating in. There's some pretty cool pathways that have been carved out here. And so yeah, I had a little intuition to check in with Rob with the coming launch and things, and I thought it'd be nice to check in. And Justin dropped a little note in my message box saying he was coming too, and so it worked out really well. And yeah, so I'm feeling good today. We have nice weather upon us here in Alberta. So I'm living in kind of Western Canada, central Western Canada. A lot of prairies just on the edge of the mountains. And we are most recently climbing out of some pretty harsh winter weather. So it's much relief, kind of like what Rob was saying, to be able to actually go outside and spend time doing that. Um, I've also been working, my partner's parents are involved in projects in Ethiopia and Rwanda. And a lot of what they're trying to do is inspire the people there to really take on their entrepreneurial kind of focuses, really empower them that way, because those food shortages that are happening in other parts of the world, um, are most definitely and almost more impactively happening in places like Rwanda and Ethiopia. So it's always an interesting perspective. I think I even asked my partner today, it's like, yeah, the grocery stores are fine now and money appears to be fine for now, but what happens when all of that changes? So I think, yeah, staying a little bit proactive by participating in, some of the forward thinking um, considerations, even if it's just, yeah, how do we reach out? How do we interact with other humans in kind and equitable ways is a good like dream and also representation, like real life representation to be rippling out into the world. So yeah, um, that's my little thought for the day, and I'll pass it over to Justin.
Justin, I
No,
couldn't
I
hear
was
you.
trying to
Oh,
speak what my brain was processing, what my mouth was moving, but they weren't having the same time. So I wasn't muted. It was just I was caught between a thought and an expression. That
got
happened.
it.
It happened.
Okay.
So we're speaking now. We're back in flow. Um, Popcorn is pop when you're hot, and potato is when you pass it. And so I just wanted to offer that. So it's like popcorn, and then potato is like hot potato. So you kind of throw the pop potato or sweet potato and then the popcorn. And so I didn't want to critique or to offer feedback in the moment, but also I wanted to just let you guys know. And that's what caused the breakdown inside me. So terrible. A weirdo.
No worries. You mean I can't blast my popcorn at you like as it comes out the
At
machine?
HSC, you can do what you want to do. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not trying. I'm not gonna tell you how to eat your popcorn. You can do what you want to. I'm good. I've been watching these dogs for 4 days. It's just been a lot, but it's great. They're awesome. They're beautiful. Kind of. They're little monsters too, but they're great. Today's been a lot of work. I had a lot of calls today. It's probably my fifth or sixth call. Not like my calls, right? But like it's they've all been very important and purposeful, but also it's been one of my more busy days I've had in a long time. And so I feel like I'm on a good track, but also feeling that like, like, oh, I don't know if you know or not, but it's good, but it's a lot. And I came here today because I had some questions exactly. It's a snail. Oh, it's a show. No. And so I came here today because I was talking to some former clients. I'll bring this up, that's like my agenda item. I was talking to some former clients. I did a project with Natalie, and this past summer, and they're based in Ibiza, and they are looking for some more work. And I was like, oh, well, I can do some of that. I can't do all of that. And I wondered if this was a good chance to come to HSC and say, hey, do you know the right people? Or is it something that would be, I don't know, but I wanted to at least share my use case with you all in this community space and see if there was something that was HSC that could be done in relationship to it. And so that's kind of what I was bringing today, a community opportunity that maybe for people here, maybe for other people out somewhere else, but wanted to kind of run it by the two of you as a use case, and also to see if there's something in the directory or whatever it may be that may be able to help to support this project being done in a kind of holistic system cooperative kind of way. So that's what I'm bringing today. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Justin. Yeah, thank you. Thanks everybody. Those were some good check-ins. There was a lot of energy, some kind of moving energy in those check-ins that I liked. So yeah, so as far as like what our plan, today, I mean these, these meetings leading up to the launch, are not as specifically structured ahead of time as we are, going to do, like, starting the week before the launch and then afterwards, because sometimes other folks don't show up and Christine and I just do more like operations meetings. However, we do have, kind of a general community meeting structure, that step. However, I think with, the folks that are here, maybe it makes more sense to just kind of go around and see if, what everybody's bringing as far as sort of in the mold of what Justin did, which is like, oh, okay, I'm coming and I wanted to share this, or I wanted to check in on this, or I have questions about this. So yeah, that's my thought on how to approach things at first. And I would think we could start with like a Justin and a Natalie on those, and discuss what they're bringing, and then go from there. How does that sound for folks? Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, my thought was just to kind of, since Justin has already, laid out a little bit what he's talking about, my thought was just to start there and then, discuss that and then move into, Natalie's. Does that feel okay to you, Natalie? Or would you rather kind of get your, if there's some thoughts or something you're bringing, get that into the room first?
Um, no, I don't have much for a specific agenda. I'm more so um wanting to just learn and observe these systems, so to, yeah, learn how to bring more people in, kind of deal. So that's all. And I know it's more difficult for third world, without access to good internet, good computers. It's harder to get involved in. I know we've had some people from other countries, time zones on top of that, but I think it's still a worthwhile consideration, broadening the internet family. Yeah. But no, I think we'll let Justin kind of unfold his piece, and then, yeah, if there's anything that, Rob, that you wanted to air out for, and it sounds like you have a lot of your launch stuff. You've been anticipating it for a long time, so it's already ready to go. If there's any thought processes that you wanted to massage,
Yeah.
we can do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds great. Yeah, as far as what you were bringing, and I wrote down a little note there. That would be wonderful to go over, and then that might, start to connect with whatever I'm, was bringing or wanting to massage. Um, yeah. So maybe since we are doing, the round here, Christine, did you have some, agenda items that you were bringing, or some hopes and dreams for our meeting today?
Yeah, I guess we could look at the Catalyst group mirror board, but I would love to hear from the others first. And one thing that came to mind when I was listening to Natalie speak about people in these other countries is circle trust. So I wonder if that there's a connection there, Rob, if we wanted to bring that into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, great. Love it. Community meeting. Let's go. So Justin, yeah, would you like to expand on what you were talking about, this use case and the folks in Ibiza, and I'd love to hear about that.
I take a pill and Ibiza. You guys remember that song by Mike Posner? It was great. It wasn't that great, but it was okay. We'll play it later. Yep. Last year, so Christine, for context, Natalie and I, we did work together in Seeds. So we're doing the cryptocurrency kind of community. We were kind of like, we kind of passed each other. We were in different generations, but it was a unifying force by which we knew each other through. And then we kind of connected a little bit more in this HSC space. And then last year, she was one of the 7 people on that Humans Being Humans at Work journey. that I was so this kind of 6-month journey where each individual brought their own question. We're looking at how can they bring that on community and do so in greater service. And we put on like a 3-hour digital event after kind of doing workshops and different interviews and all kinds of stuff. So it was this kind of peer-to-peer self-organizing journey around helping, stepping into greater capacity for facilitation entrepreneurship, but not doing so in community. And so we got to go really deep then. That was the depths. And we kind of, obviously stayed friends and kind of colleagues since then. So that's like a quick recap. It's the past. And then in the more recent past, we I was in Ibiza. I met a woman named Erica Tangari. She has a method called the Soul Method. And it is I'm going to just show you a little thing so you can have a sense. And so it's not confusing what I'm talking about, although it won't be. I requested access to show my screen. Is that okay, Rob? Cool. Did you approve it?
You're clear.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to share this screen. I'm going to pull this up. Let's see. Hopefully she's on the first page because I don't want to go too deep. Oh, so Soul Method. We won't go the whole thing, but pretty much she's a caterer and a kind of consultant, like chefs and cooks and other caterers and food enthusiasts on the island, but also across like Europe and the UK. And she kind of focuses on like different types of health optimizations and cooking and diet, and we teamed up with her and designed. She had an online course she recorded. She did an in-person training that she turned into an online course or like a set of videos. And so we took her presentation, which was on Prezi, and put it into a Canva PDF and made it kind of more digestible and relatable and beautiful. And so, Natalie and I teamed up to kind of put together this certification course for her and these different images based on what she liked, her style, but also the information she had already built out for the course. So she had a corresponding video. So we used their past slides, kind of gave them a redone, and turned them into something that was kind of more of a standalone PDF guide with some really kind of cool and funky imagery, but also the nature of Erica. I'm trying to find a picture of Erica. That's her hands. But let's see if I can see a picture of Erica somewhere. So you can get a good vibe for her too. I don't know. It's fine if we can't find her, but she's got to be somewhere in here. Also her hands. It's fine. We're going to move past it in a second. We'll give it. Oh, hey, Erica. All right. So that's Erica. She's awesome. And so we Soul Method certification program. So let me get to them. So I just want to show you. So that's Natalie. So they hired me to take their presentation to turn it into a different kind of presentation. And then we kind of became this project. And because I was doing design work, but I was like, that's not really my strong suit. I hit up Natalie and then we cooperated on executing on the project. And so it was really a good opportunity. Erica and Michelle, her partner, were super grateful and really loved our work. They were great clients. They had great feedback. They paid on time. They paid happily. Woo, which is always great. And I think just mutually there was a sense of co-creative openness and just a lot of mutual respect and trust in our relationship for a very first time project. So it was a really great experience overall. They reached out to me 2 days ago, this past weekend, and we're like, hey, we have a bunch of work we really can't do ourselves right now. We're going to hit you up and see if you have the capacity to support us or not. You're the first person came to mind. We love the work that you and Natalie did. Can we do some more together? And the project they have is pretty much pretty much LMS work. So taking some content from different courses and maybe putting them into another course software. There's a little bit of front-end web design, very simple, like one-page websites, but also things that, using things like ClickFunnels they want to use, something else possibly, right? So they're trying to take their current courses and also a little bit of like static website they use for booking consultation and calls. And they really want to really look at their current architecture and figure out how they can move it into a more unifying system for their two different brands, both Soul Methodology and Misha's brand, Kings of Compassion, and kind of create a unified funnel and process for that. I'm not saying the best I can, but I also don't want to go super deep because it may not be the most important thing. But it's a little bit of web design, a little bit of kind of content or LMS switching possibly, and then also a little bit of like funnel setup using certain software technology. And also kind of taking some of the raw content they have, like videos and this kind of stuff, and moving it on to whatever new platform, right? So there's a chance to kind of look at what they currently have, see the courses and the websites, and then kind of pretty much, I think, offer them an optimized system for being able to market and sell their courses. And they already have some sense of what they want to do. They already have some system subscriptions, but they're looking for some guidance and also some work to be done around it. I told them, I heard them, I feel them. They're, and I said, hey, like, I can do some of that. I probably can't do all of that. And I don't know that if I could do all of that, I don't know if I can do all of that in that, within this time frame. But what I can do is I'm going to go to my friends at HSC and I'm going to say, hey, like, here's this thing to do, right? It's a little bit of marketing, it's a little bit of design, it's a little bit of, LMS or course creation. I don't know who's in the directory. I don't know what's interesting or not, but I'm going to bring this opportunity to them. And I'm going to say that this is there. And if we want to find some way to use it as a use case to learn and to grow and to practice something, not as an agency, right? I'm not coming to HSC going, hey, you guys are an agency. Can you do this work for me? I'm actually saying, hey, I'm Justin. I'm going to run point on this. I've already collaborated with one member of your group, Natalie, technically, right? So there's a little bit of that happening going on already too. I feel like marketing and web stuff is kind of in Rob's field. There's a little bit of membership and stuff happening too, Christine. I don't know what's happening. I'm just naming things, no pressure. But I just want to know, like, is there something for us to do together? And do we want to explore that thing was kind of my question. So I wanted to bring it here because I felt like the place to bring it to. That's my story.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Justin. This is this is great. And this is just to say, like, this is exactly the kind of thing that I'm hoping, right, that like people can bring into HSC, right? One of the many important pieces of value that we can share, and that's what this catalyst group is all about, really, right? Is catalyzing, is getting some people in there, right, into this directory, so that way there's enough robustness, so when somebody brings in an opportunity like this, which it is, there's people who might be able to jump in, or at least point somebody in the right direction. So that's great. Personally, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because I'm listening, and like everything you're talking about is like kind of goes right into my areas of expertise and what I've been working on and doing the past like 5+ years, which is tech systems, right? So like integrating tech systems, holistic systems, one might say. And specifically, right, most of what I've been doing is working with like courses, programs, trainings, events, people selling things, both in person and online, live and pre-recorded and evergreen. And right, including like being involved in marketing, and also, the marketing strategy, right? That's what I'm kind of moving into, is a lot of like the, more like the systems and the strategy. So, I'll just, name myself, as that kind of fits right into my area of expertise. I'd have to learn more about it as far as like what their timeline is, what their budget is. I'm like so slammed right now. I'm actually like blowing off like paid client work so that way I can prep for the HSC launch, which is like, well, it is what it is. Um, but yeah, I'd love to hear what other folks say. And the last thing for me to say is that if I am depending on what, like, who's involved, what the team construct might be, even if I'm don't have the capacity to do more like the day-to-day work or setup or things like that. I do think that my expertise in understanding like the systems and how they all go together, and what like taking what they're trying to do, and coming up with a good plan and strategy to create a system that's really gonna work well, and that's that will age as well as possible. So those are my two thoughts on it.
What kind of timeline are they working in, Justin? Because you mentioned it's tight, but
Yeah, I kind of said we talked about a phase approach. So I think it depends on how we go about it, but they're looking for something maybe before, like right around the time of the launch, right? So they want some type of thing around April, beginning of April, because they're pretty much paying for they're gonna have a software crossover where they end up paying $600 for the month of April if they don't make some kind of choice or switch by then. So they want to at least be able to make a strategic decision about what they're going to do and what they're not going to do by then. So that could be not doesn't mean they've actually started doing the work yet, but they want something before April 4th. And then there's a little bit of like a probably April to the end of May would be that kind of, so a little bit, it can go as far as that. So if we get Erica's courses up and built and then be able to use that to support Mish and her brand too and implementing their courses, right? That would be, so my thought, like some type of clear strategic direction, a team and organized and beginning to do some work, base level, front end web design by April 4th. And then looking at courses being built across the month of, uploaded and created by the month of April, and then doing that again one more time for Michelle and her course come May. So it's a little bit of that's like stretching it out very far, but just kind of saying that's kind of the April 4th is when they're looking for something to make a choice point, which is like, are we going to stay on Kajabi, which is their LMS, and are we going to go to ClickFunnels? Are we paying for both? And they don't want to pay for both, obviously, because it's like it's almost $700, something like that for both services, and they're trying to not have to hold both if it's not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested actually. It feels quite resonant like with some projects that I've been in before. Like I'll just put them here in the chat. There's like one was like a cooking school in Byron Bay, which is like really focused on health and like a combination of medicinal food with like ethnic, roots. And then there's also this other school that I worked with for 4.5 years, which is the Wild Temple, which is basically like an advanced yoga certification school, but they also teach herbalism and flower essences and other like ritual practice, basically for women. So yeah, like I've been really focused on HSC and other projects like this, but I set a deadline for myself for April to be making some more income that I haven't been doing over the last year, and so this might be something nice to bridge that. In terms of like the LMS and the ClickFunnel, that might be something that I could do that part of it. Yeah, I'm open to hear like what other people, like how that would fit as a team to work together. Yeah.
Cool, and feels resonant. Natalie, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
March is an interesting month. I had said to myself that I wouldn't take on any new projects this month, or this spring, kind of working on with what I have, like the Hope Rwanda thing. I'm doing some concept design and preparing that for their shareholders and beneficiaries. So making some material that's kind of universal language so multiple people can get on board with the project, because that age old like getting people motivated is really tough, but if you can provide something all on the same, get people on the same page, it's a little easier. And with the coaching, I'm moving into like my practicum this month, and so I really wanted to focus my energy in that, and so I'm feeling a little more detached from like design work, computer work. So yeah, I don't know if I would be such a good team match, even though I do have a lot of appreciation for Erica and her partner. So yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Mm.
Thank you all.
Mhm.
My sense is like, well, yeah, I think my intention was kind of just to bring it here. I told them I would. It felt aligned, and also to understand what it would be like to to engage with the members of HSC, as well as HSC as like a cooperative body in some kind of way, as a trial of, so moving, both in service to this their work, but also hopefully in service to some of the HSC too, right? As a real, this is kind of a good learning thing about, okay, well, I bring the opportunity, because there's, I don't want to go into complexity because it's not really necessary now, but it's like, when you think about payment and you think about, roles, and you think about how that operates, it could be completely outside the HSC scope, but also it feels like something about that could possibly, thank you, be in relationship to it too. All right, it's fine. Be problematic. Sorry, my niece brought me some food, but there's dogs and that sort of thing.
Right.
Just very sweet. Uh, um, so yeah, I think maybe I'll just say that, yeah, I think there's just that sense of, yeah, I thought about Rob, I thought about your web skills, and then Christine also thought about your marketing, and also Natalie asked for your design, and also understand that this may not be the right moment opportunity. Also, it could be one that it comes in the near future, which may not be the month of March, or even beginning or mid of April, right? This is going to be a little bit of time that's going to be there for different parts to come about, and I think that's just where what I could see as like a next step is like, I mean, we're not maybe not there yet, but my sense was like, maybe if there is interest from HSC, but also from Rob and Christine, maybe it makes sense either with Rob or for both of us, or for maybe just to talk um to look at a little bit more deeply, and just say like, is this something like, what would what would a holistic system look like in this context? And I can, I can do some technical work, and also I'm pretty good at the project managing. I kind of consider it an aspect of facilitation, right? So facilitating people to be able to get work done and trying to find the right talent to be able to coordinate and accomplish it, I'm good with. Designing a right system and response to what they're asking for. I think I have a sense of those things, but I don't think I have an expertise. And then also I know they do need some work around branding and marketing and language and copy. I don't know if that's like your jam, Christine, but I feel like maybe it is a little bit. I know it's also Ross, but I feel like there's a little bit of, I'm not sure actually. I'm not 100%, but I feel like that's, but yeah, okay. Okay. I go look at your profile real quick. Let me pull you in the directory. But I know that's needed. And so we can figure that out too. So I just want to say, like, I think there is the thing here. I definitely would want some help. The budget was, she said, I asked her budget, she said, I don't know, right? And she said, pretty much, I know it's not going to be 1,000, but I would hope it's not 5. And I said, okay, that works for me. That's a good operating range to know that they're falling in without any kind of clear scope of project just yet. That makes sense, right? So less than $5,000, hopefully, and then more than $1,000, and then trying to figure out how to shape a project around that in phases that work. And that also may not be attractive to either. You may go, hey, for $5,000, I won't get out of bed for less than 6. And I go, okay, it's fine. It's also good to know as a boundary as well. So I just wanted to, that's all the information I have currently. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I told them was I would come back to them and let them know what a future possibility may be like. If I found that there was talent that may be interested in working on this, and then we could figure out what to do from there. So that's kind of where we're at. Is that helpful to hear as
Yeah.
in response to what you're bringing?
Yeah. Super helpful to hear. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just to name again, right? Like this is great. Like this is perfect, right?
Hey!
This is the kind of thing. Yeah. You're like, this is the, yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing, that I really would envision. It's not the only thing, but this is like something I would really envision, and have envisioned, right? In HSC. In fact, this was the, as because you were around earlier, right? Like it was kind of that first vision, or part of it, right? Was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have this agency and we're all gonna team up, and we're gonna sell client services and that's gonna support the cooperative. And that vision is still there. but we haven't concentrated on it so much. So yeah, I love it. I think, yeah, I mean, I'm just, I'm sort of up against things, for now, right? As far as like, time and resources, certainly in March. So that's a definitely a concern. And, I'm also, um, these days really needing to, um, optimize the amount of money that I'm making for, for what I'm doing. I'm really needing to move into that. So it's hard, right? If I was sitting around twiddling my thumbs, I'd be like, let's do it. Let's jump into it. I think maybe my first thought, at least for myself, I can speak for myself, is no matter what, I'm happy to just like chat with them. I'm happy to just like have an hour meeting and just hear what they're trying to do. And if nothing else, I could, share thoughts from there. I mean, there's you know, I think that there's, for me, right, like there's sort of just hearing what they're trying to do and share thoughts. I think the next, sort of step would be like scoping the project out and saying, okay, what is, like this is what they're trying to do. This is what they have, what's going to work best, and what would be the, the implementation plan for that, and how much would that cost, and so. Yeah, that's a whole thing. And then of course, and then who's going to do what and implementing it. So yeah, I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Yeah, as far as like, you know, myself, I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe I'd love to hear, what other folks think, and yeah, March is going to be tough.
Can I respond back to your response? And then
Yeah,
also, I don't want to
please.
take the whole call up, so I want to just honor, maybe we like put like a boundary on it. We probably like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's other things probably to get into too, so I don't want to eat all that up. And also maybe that will help. So sorry, I'm just rambling. Oh, I'm predicting the future before it even happens. Oh, let me just. So what I wanted to say was like like I don't want. This is just a thought that comes to mind. It's like, well, just finding the right role. If we decide we want to try it out, and it feels true to do, finding right roles is very possible. So Rob, if you're like, hey Justin, you know what? I can't really give time and energy to it until the middle of April after the launch happens, then but you're willing to take like $200 to be a systems design consultant with me. You can have, I don't know if a role is valuable for you or if the practice of holding that role is valuable for you. But if we can attach some value to you holding that role that allows for you to be able to give that time and energy, but not do it for free, but also be able to help me to be able to structure a project that works well for everybody, that's cool. Like that could be a possibility, right? And so if you have, if I'm not trying to, I don't know, right? But that's something I want to say too. Like, I don't, in the spirit of HSC, I think no one should have to, work for free, but there may be roles that help you to be able to give your time and energy in ways that work for you and work well, but still offer the value. So if you can understand the system better than I can, I will have a pretty good sense of it. But if you can make that thing easeful and that's what your role is, then we can find a right way to do that. Like, please don't, if you have like McKinsey rates, I'm not going to work with you. But if you can go, if we can find some kind of like, fair and make sense thing, or if there's a way that this happens in the community resource pool thing, I'm happy to be creative around it. I'm happy to support the nature of HSC developing. I'm also happy to honor you, Christine and Natalie, as in your freelancing capacities, or your however you want to think about that. So I just want to say that I'm bringing it to you again, like I said, because if there's a way to further the organization and help it be able to figure out what it does with things like this, that's really interesting and creative. Let's do that. If there's a way that I also want to support Erica and Michelle in their problem, which is like, hey, we have great content, we have all this course, we made all this video, and we just need help right now because we're not making any money by all these videos not being in a course site. So if we can get these 125 videos we edited plus this design that we made into something, we know we can make money. And so it could be, I mentioned them too, it could be a revenue share agreement, right? For all the courses they sell, we make some kind of, and that's like, I'm not saying you're not here, but like all that's a possibility. And I'm super creative on those things. I'm willing to execute on them. But that's the thing I just want to frame that up to, not to put more on the plate, but just to kind of ease the possibility and I'm trying to create a field of flexibility and responsiveness if there's responsiveness happening in the group too, and at an organizational, but also at an individual level. Does that make sense what I'm saying, where I'm coming from?
It makes total sense. I love it. Yeah, yeah, I love it. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I want to let Natalie and Christine share if they if, they have more responses. But the one thing I do want to say, like baseline for me, like it sounds fun, like at a baseline level, I'm like, ooh, that sounds fun, right? Like that's the kind of thing I want to be doing. I want to be like, working with, the us collaborators who are trying to, right? Like we're trying to change the way we work. And so to be doing the work together while we're trying to change the way we work and yeah, so it sounds fun. So it just has to be, it has to be doable and all of that, which is what you're speaking to. How do we figure that out, who, not how, that kind of thing. So I'll pause there and open up the floor. Opening it up for popcorn, by the way, not hot potato.
Natalie, do you have any other extra thoughts from hearing everything?
Go ahead. Yeah. Um, the only thought I had was, and if Rob is too busy, there must be other like website-based people that you might know of. But that's all I had. Just
Yeah, I'm definitely interested, so I just want to put that out there. Because I like that intention, and I love women-owned businesses, and yeah, there's a lot of things there that I like the look of everything that you've already created with that PDF, and it seems like they have a lot of great material, which is one of the most important things when you're trying to create interesting courses is have you got anything to work with? Um, so yeah, I guess I would be interested to hear more about what they would want from someone with the LMS or like with that aspect of it, so that I would know how in detail I could get with them and if they've already got the design of their programs like in their mind and it just needs to be played out and like put into reality, or if that needs to be worked on a little bit. That would be something I'm curious to know more of.
I know we're
Yeah.
planning on having a call on Sunday. If that's cool. So maybe I
Yeah.
know that's going to be dedicated to HSC Catalyst
Hmm.
group, but if it makes sense to like leave the community call more open for other things or what it may be, then maybe we could touch base a little bit about, well, that is kind of too far away, but what I'm gonna, but maybe we can pick up on some of the more detailed aspects on Sunday, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Um,
So I
or
guess the question is like, who else do you need on the team? Like if, like how many people do you need to work on this?
my sense is not a number of people. It's like, the try and make a little triage of talent. And I
Mhm.
think, or not triage, but like, but like a thing of talent. And I think like I'm good at system and architecture at some level. Like I can design good systems. But I also think that, there's a learning curve for me around LMS marketing funnels. And like,
Mm.
I think I know that I can figure that out. I know I have a sense, but I don't necessarily have an expertise in those things, right? So I've done in the past, just like front end web design. I've done Squarespace, I've done WordPress. I can do these things, right? And also, it's not my expertise, so the amount of carry it takes for me to either plan it or to execute on it, it just may make the cost higher than it needs to be. So what I kind of noticed is like, okay, as a client, I would take full responsibility for the project based on having conversation with those around me. And then I would have the team come together based on what's needed in right kind of ways, almost breaking it up to bits and pieces, and they would execute it on it, right? And so if I don't know something, let's say I have a budget, I would say, hey, Rob, can I get 2 hours of your time to be able to really help me attend these calls? Give me a map, and so we can know how to go forward from here. Okay, Christine, I know we have these kind of front end things that are going to need content, as well as some understanding of helping Michelle with some of her course design for this men's retreats. Like, can we get 3 or 4 hours? Whatever things are, right? But kind of project managing, but also taking responsibility, but allowing us to collectively share it is my sense of things. And that way it's not, again, HSC holding the project. And it's not you guys that are responsible for it. It would be me being responsible and then working with you guys as trusted outsourced talent who are part of a team that's coming together cooperatively, but yet doesn't have anything more that has to do beyond this body of work, although we're doing other things too.
Hmm.
That's how I would frame it. And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense, right? And there's always ways to fill holes, even if it's, with other folks, than here. Yeah, I mean, who knows? It could be simple, if they're like, yeah, let's, if it makes sense to stick with Kajabi, right? Then everything happens in Kajabi, right? And Kajabi is, yeah, you need to know how to design the systems, right, properly. But Kajabi is pretty, user friendly, right? It's not WordPress. You're not going to break it in the same way. So who knows? Could be less, complex. And yeah. So how should we proceed then?
HSC. No, wrong. HSC. HSC. That's how we could proceed, Rob.
Yeah.
Let me
All right, sorry. Yeah, it doesn't take too much to get me pumped up.
we're vibing. So I think what I'd say is maybe I'm gonna say my friends at HS, my colleagues at HSC
Colleagues. Yeah.
are interested in exploring this project further. Can we? I have some questions for you, or we'll find some time to meet in the coming day in the next week. If that's okay, and then I'll try to coordinate some of that. I'll just like make a little. I'll do some facilitation of that, but I'll just let them know that there's interest. That we do think there may be easier or more complex ways to go about this, and we think that we can take on both the systems kind of design as well as the some of the content and marketing. So I'll kind of just frame up us as like a team of experts, and we can kind of fill in the gaps. We have a little bit of course design development. We feel good with the LMS and the systems. There's that marketing and content background, and so we think we can have a solid team to be able to support you. The next question is really what that plan is to go forward in the right kind of way. And I can also give a little bit of thought to that to be able to bring that back to you guys maybe and see what you think about a plan going forward, right? So I'll kind of, if it's not too much, I'll try to let them know that we're going to take a few days to kind of get it clear. I have good information. I didn't bring it all here. And then also I'll come to you with what I have, and then we can kind of see what's there. Does that feel like a good way to go forward? And then we can always, I think the ideal is like whatever we can tie back into the development of the community or into HSC as a whole, the better. The more we can make this be a use case and an example or a springboard or systems, whatever the things are, I think that's just the ideal thing to have happen here. And it's all about
Yeah.
and co-creation.
Yeah, it would be really nice to have a great client that we worked on collectively who also it feels like HSC is a wonderful thing and wants to tell their people about it. Like I think that who knows, no pressure on her, but that could happen. Like
everybody on Ibiza has a course, so we just gotta break it in there. We're gonna be There's so many courses on Ibiza. Don't even worry about that.
All right. All right.
I'm being for real, but I'm also joking.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's great. For some reason, that's what the divine wants me to work on is every client I have, it's just like we're doing courses and education and healing. I mean, fair enough, I suppose yeah. Anyways, that sounds like a great plan. Sounds like a great plan to me. All right. Anything else on that from anyone, or shall we yeah, switch gears? All right. This is us gear switching. I think according to what we were talking about before, yeah, we can switch gears to Natalie. So Natalie, what I took in that you shared, earlier was, you talked about wanting to learn and observe these systems, which, yeah, you can I'd love a little more clarification on, what you mean by these systems, which maybe is like how we're all working together, community economy. I won't judge your pizza rolls, no. Um, maybe judge as I want some. And then, also, right, like within learning about that and understanding that, how to bring folks in and how others can get involved. And you were specifically talking about folks which might have some technological challenges. Pizza. Yep. So I'd love to hear
Yeah.
speak more to that, Natalie, and yeah, see what we can
Um,
get into.
yeah, I mean, I don't feel I necessarily need to talk to it more or need to really it was just a passion of the moment, just realizing that increasing the ability for more people to be empowered and kind of self-enabled is a really essential process for the times that we're facing. So I don't really have like a specific use case. It was more just something I'm observing. Um, the yeah, like even since I've been to Rwanda, I've been keeping in touch with a woman. She was our bird guide while we were over there. And then we spent a little more time with her, got to know her better. And she was a young woman in her 20s, and, has since left her job at the doing the bird stuff because there was kind of an awkward, like, sexual harassment thing. And her parents were pressuring her to get married. So she got married and almost immediately pregnant. And um, yeah, and so it's like I'd love to be able to help her, but I don't want to just be handing out cash or, computers, because that's so often kind of what the expectation is coming from the Western world. And instead, I started talking to her about ideas of, what she could do for her local community, because jobs are getting harder and harder to get out there and get good paying ones too. And so she came up with this idea of using like knitting. She likes to knit and crochet, and using that as an opportunity to do kind of like mental health awareness, like have people come and do crochet as a group and have like a little support circle. And I'm like, hey, that's fantastic. Um, and then I was just kind of wondering, like, how do I um, educate her on how to, work with systems of value and um, yeah, and same with these projects in Rwanda, Hope Rwanda and Hope Ethiopia. It's key that the locals begin to take on um, ventures of their own interest and passion, and then actually apply that to the community around them. So there's opportunities for like CSA, local growing and selling foods and things like that. And so yeah, it's just a maybe why I keep circling back into groups like Seeds and HSC and Christine, you had mentioned Circle Trust or Trust Circle, not sure which one, but nice. Um, yeah, so that's all. It's not really it's just um yeah, and Justin reminded me this week, he's like, choose it's almost like choose your battles, like choose the crises to get involved in. Like, what are the things that really move you? And then also, there's so many things going wrong in our world
Mm.
right now. It's like really pick something in alignment with who you are naturally. So I've just been exploring this whole concept of privilege and, even just simple things like how my toothbrush is made or like the Kleenex I use, like it's simple everyday like luxuries, but they're just basic expectations now in like the Western world. And so in order for me to keep those, it's usually to the benefit or to the like I benefit on the backs of other people. And so just really feeling into that consideration of privilege and yeah, just wanted to be mindful of it. So I don't know what exactly to bring into the center of this circle, but that's where my thoughts were going.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can, yeah, see, I mean, see who would like to respond. I mean, I could, yeah, so I can open the floor. I mean, um, and right, like there's something where I think it'd be interesting to speak to a little bit to Circle Trust, because so Christine, I don't know if that's something that if you had a response or wanted to speak to that.
I'd like to hear you describe it, I think, in this circumstance. I can add in anything else.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that comes to mind, right, like as far as in that particular situation, right, like Holistic Systems Cooperative is, set like there might be limited benefit, um, for somebody who's doing something that is, like tangible and on the ground, something like that crochet support circle. They might be able to offer something else, right? But it doesn't seem, quite in the kind of specific audience. But Circle Trust, the idea of Circle Trust really is, the platform that we're building. So as far as HSC, right, the idea was always that whatever platform and system we're building, this community economy, could be transferable, right, to other kinds of communities, other, demographic communities, and of course on the ground, local communities, to be able to do this kind of resource sharing and value exchange, and non-monetary, exchange of goods and services, with, in a much more tangible way. And so, that was kind of always on the horizon, but then we ran into this other group called Roots Co-op, and they were kind of building the same thing. So we teamed up as Circle Trust. And so, that is something that is, we are right now, working on and creating and building, which is very exciting because Circle Trust is something that is meant to be this community economy, platform and like, trust and legal wrappers and governance and all of that, for any type of community, including on the ground communities. So, so for somebody, but to somebody to launch that, in and on the ground community, that's a big, feels like it doesn't have to be big, but right, like you can't, it's not something where you just do it on your own, right? You need other people, to come. But I just want to name that to say that is, um, that's something that might, that we hope will be applicable to communities of that nature. Again, right, there might be tech, sort of barriers as well, which I'm not sure. There is something, like Will and grassroots economics is already working in Africa and doing that kind of, that kind of like resource sharing, community economy, rotating labor, so like that might be a resource. Yeah, I mean that's kind of where what I have coming from this perspective. Um,
Yeah, and that's great. Like I can look into these other projects and get ideas and things. Yeah. Because I think the two that you just mentioned, the Circle Trust and the grassroots economics, I think it's a great place to start. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what like the goal, Rob has been inspired by Will for a long time and has taken some aspects of his work and brought that into Circle Trust. And we're also bringing the value exchange and like all of the profiles and everything from HSC into Circle Trust. And then this other group, Roots Co-op, is weaving in their base app, which was Vivero, which was kind of like a crowdfunding app for regen projects. And so we've got like all of this circulating into one, excuse me, into one like a base app that Rob and Todd are refining at this point as to like this is our base level of features and this is how you use it. So that's where that project is at this point.
very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the idea, right, is that it's, any and all resources, right? So you want people to be able to bring, well, you get, all types of value, but also, right, even, financial value. And how can people, right? It's like, yeah, I could sort of give, it's like, oh, okay, this sounds like a person, that, right, could use some help. I could give, $25 or whatever. And that's great. But, so like, it's hard to give, for one person individual to give $25 to, every one individual person, but this might be, right. It isn't about like just, money coming in from other places, right? It's about, the resources that they have and building that up, but it's also about every community. So if I'm somebody and I say, oh, okay, well, yeah, this sounds great. I want to invest in this community. And I'm investing $25, that right, then I'm putting that into the community, and then that community is deciding how they want to use it. Right. So it's just, it's the value flows. And so we're saying dropping that into the community, there is a system. We're seeing that everything's transparent. Oh, like that's the idea. I see where that, where that money is flowing and these resources are flowing.
Mhm.
So yeah. It's a work in progress, of course. Yeah, Justin.
On that last note, before I go
Oh,
this note,
got water on you.
sorry for getting water on him. Um,
Yeah, it was a kitty emergency.
I love a nice
I
fat
had
cat.
Biofy had a call last month, a month before last, on the flow funding. So Regen Network, and then some other people were talking about flow funding. They had the lady, and that was Robert, you're describing was a flow fund. So if you're interested in that, I'm not sure what I'm pointing at, but it's the link above. I can find a link. Biofy, yeah, I can, which is Tyler and Sam. They're doing that thing. Anyway, so I was there, and then that wasn't the point though. Natalie, well, just a thought on HSC and Circle Trust and Rwandan entrepreneurship. Um, if if you teach a woman to fish, she'll eat for, if you give a woman a fish, she'll eat for a meal. But if you teach her how to fish, she'll eat for a day. But if you teach her the art of inventing fishing, who knows what she'll do? And so I think that's my proverb. So if as an HSC member in the future, if you put this up as a need and I responded to it, but it was happening as a Circle of Trust offering, right? Like I would gladly host a session or two about the art of facilitation, or the art of asking for your value, or developing community around your craft. So there's things I could, you would know me well enough, Natalie. So that was a project you decided to take on with the Rwandan heart, and they wanted to do something. I would happily offer, like, I would volunteer my time if that was a need. You posted as example on the HSC thing, but just generally, just you can just call me too. But if we're doing it here, we're just talking about it in here as is. But if that was a need, I would definitely offer that value exchange, and I would do so voluntarily. and offer what I could. If you saw what was most needed there around facilitation, entrepreneurship, community development, whatever it may be, right? I'd be happy to teach the art of listening, right? Not that they don't know how to. I'm trying to like come and impose my view, but actually just saying like, hey, here's how you can talk about listening to help to offer that to your community, because people in America are getting paid a lot of money to how to listen, right? Maybe you can make a little bit of money, teach people how to hold a mindfulness practice space, because you can make good money for you doing what hasn't really been done there in ways that we have already turned into like corporate, we've already figured out the mechanism for that. Maybe it can really support you in whatever you're doing, whether you are. And so I think that translation of like these kind of services into that environment as a here are the things you have to do, but let me teach, I'm not sure what that looks like. I think that's kind of something I would trust you to hold. I think you have that capacity to be able to help to make sure that it's not like, whatever that stuff is, like, oh, colonization, or like, oh, my American savior complex, right? But like something different where like it's actually like, hey, you're another human being who's looking to develop their skills in a meaningful way, and here are the skills here's the skills that this person has. Maybe they can help you to translate them. I would volunteer for that. I would respond to that need very easily. If that helps to build up circle of trust, that could be really cool too. So I'm not volunteering because it doesn't exist yet, but I would definitely volunteer if that was something that you guys decided to do at some point in time as part of the member value exchange. Because I think that'd be great practice for me. How can I bring this to its most rudimental form to support them, and being able to really be able to implement it on the ground in a whole different culture? It's like a really worthwhile design challenge, and something that can be meaningful in a very simple way.
Yeah, that's a really good perspective, actually, to even hold that in mind, in all of it. So, because yeah, I wasn't expecting to really bring this as like a offering to HSC, but it's kind of interesting how it has evolved. So cool.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it made me think of like how people can create offers or needs, not just for themselves, Rob, but also for this project in the way that Justin described it. And it was different than I think than the way we've been thinking of it. Or that that initially this basic version has been set up. But I don't think there would be much to do to frame it just a little bit differently that way, that it could be like project oriented. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there was something actually when I was, I don't know, working on everything. It was last week, and I don't know why it hadn't specifically come in yet, but like, um, it was like I was working on the different ways that you can filter, sort of filtering the offers and needs, right? And I was like, oh yeah, one filter should be like opportunities, which is really like it's a kind of offer, maybe, or a kind of need, but like I think it'd be a great filter because something where, what Justin is saying is like rather than just, something very specific, like an opportunity, meaning like there's a job here, right? Um, like paid, like, because, we want like if somebody said, oh, okay, I have like, paid work, or I want to offer a job, or there's a project to work on, something very specific where, so I just thought that was a different, that was something that would be useful as a filter. Yeah. And I also think that Natalie, I think what we're speaking here, and maybe this is what you're speaking to, Christine, or not. Yeah, it's just something I like to hold is that like need can be anything. I love that like a need or an offer can be like any need or offer. Even though we're saying, okay, we're a community of professionals and entrepreneurs, I still love the idea that like whatever you're really needing, personal, professional, whatever, like put it in there. Is it if it's for you, if it's for somebody else? Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, that's so true for me. Like when I first was here in this circle and I voiced that need for, I needed some kind of support, and then you got me in with Mary Ellen, and now like full circle, now I'm one of the Lacchiera coaches. It's like it's pretty funny. So it met my need and then some. So in terms of testimony, some works. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Something like, because posting any need, right? Like, yeah, because you don't think, well, yeah, I'm having all these mental, spiritual, emotional things going on, and you don't think that, yeah, you can really submit it into, yeah, like a professional work-based environment. But in the end, we're all human and we all have needs. And so, yeah, they're interconnected in ways that we can't even really anticipate sometimes.
Yeah. 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 I love it. I mean, one could even say you're a whole human and that we want, yeah. And then we want to support the whole humans. We have the whole human mindset. Um,
Nice.
yeah. And actually, just to, if you would like and to write like a testimonial, I mean, if that's, if that's sort of there and sparked, if you want to write a couple sentences or whatever, it doesn't have to be great. But yeah, that'd be great to have like, we'd love to have like two or three of those on the website. So
Cool.
if you have one,
Yeah.
or if you could,
Yeah,
yeah, if that's something that you'd be able to do, love it.
you bet. I'll make a note.
Hmm. We are a holistic system. Yeah, well, it's been a long time since I told the fish pillow story did anybody hear the fish pillow story about my need?
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember the fish pillow itself. I can't remember the original need other than it was like it was like a nostalgic item for you, and it needed repair for like a long time standing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's my right. I mean, it's right over there, right? Like it's one of my best friends, this fish pillow. I mean, it's a pillow, but it's also a fish, right? So you can see how amazing
Why
that
it's so essential. Yeah.
But after 20 years, it was just like, it was like flat and it was, but like the stuffing was coming out, right? And this was when we were on the Notion. And I was thinking, right, and right, thinking of my needs. Okay, what are my needs? What are my top needs, right? And I was like feeling into that. And I'm like, I need somebody to like repair this fish pillow because it feels like beyond, what I can do, but it's a big need, right? And so I listed that up there. And then there's somebody who's actually in my community my local community who, isn't involved, but at that point was like, was interested. She's still interested, but she's, was watching some of the videos, the community meetings. And so she saw on there, like I was showing the member portal platform, she saw on there the fish pillow thing. And so she's like, yeah, that's, something I could do. And I was like, and like she did this amazing job and like completely like it was a new life for my fish pillow. So that's like the magic, that I want to just name. Like you just don't know. Like it was ridiculous for me to put in that need in there, when everybody we're working with is remote, it's sort of like, why even put it in there? But no, there's magic in it. And that's what we want. Anyway, so that's the fish pillow story. Yes.
Yeah, and actually just mentioning La Quiera, they're starting to move into the business side of coaching. And because a lot of people at the end of the class are like, how do I find my niche? How do I like keep clients? How do I, yeah, all of it. And so um kind of like the soul cooking group, it's, that could be another group of another pod that's or opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
They want to
absolutely.
branch into adding business component, and so yeah, that
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Yeah, and I'm gonna be poking a lot of those lock Chiara method people in the next, couple weeks to be like, hey, come join HSC. You get help,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can do the same as well from my end.
You only want Natalie. No one else but Natalie. She's our sole La Quiera method person.
She's our only
Monopoly. She came here for the.
I know. I know. And that reminds me of, BNI, Business Networking International, which, from everything I understand, right, is that, like is works well and is well run and people, really like find benefit and value from it. So not knocking it. But they do have a rule, right? You get one like Lockyer method person. You get one accountant, in each group. You get one um, whatever, carpenter. And that's, so again, it's not like that's a bad system, but I don't like it. I don't like the
Situation.
idea of it.
Yeah, a little controlled. And would it be like, would I be recommending people to come to the launch? Is that a useful point for people to kind of really catch yeah, kind of the
Yeah.
full display? I imagine that's when you're laying it all out.
Laying it all out on the line. Yeah, I would say at this point that is the call to action. That's the CTA, is come to the launch. And now that we have the website up, it actually makes it a lot easier to and in the next couple of days I'm going to be writing like some kind of prompts, just that I can share to help you, to even make it easier. Um but yeah, that's it. At this point it's like come to the launch parties, if you're interested, and then join the Catalyst group, because really our hope is that if there's you know enough people coming in together, right, then that can catalyze what we're
Yeah,
trying.
some energy and movement. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not that they can't join 2 weeks later or something, or 2 months later, but yeah, that's the current um, place to that we're looking at.
Yeah, the current intention.
I wonder if we could put more like information about this whole person stuff if we're going to try to be connecting with people in healing practices. Because I feel like we've got the whole person thing like down the page, like somewhere, but it's
Yeah,
not really up front. Um,
write a blog on it.
yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm feeling like there's could be like something we could do to the homepage even, like without changing a lot, but just something that's a little bit more like the vibe of what you guys have all just been talking about.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the website's looking great, by the way.
open to it. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Uh,
Yeah. Christine, you've been part of that? Is that?
Yeah, I've been helping with the content and some of the images and things. Rob's been doing a lot of the mechanical aspects 'cause he's good with
Hmm.
that with WordPress. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. It's definitely been a team effort between Christine and I. Um, yeah, and putting right like not only the content, but also like how we're putting things together, and what is the design, and what is that? Yeah, as there's a lot that goes into it. Um, so
Hmm.
yeah, thank you for that. And there's still a lot to do and add and change. That's how I am. I finish something and then I look at everything else that needs fixing, but I also know that it's okay.
And all the other components that you were working with, kind of building when I was with Newman and things like that, the Notion and all those bits and pieces, are they kind of being integrated as you develop these new pieces forward, or are they going to be, yeah.
Yeah. You mean like the actual like member portal, the platform? The
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm working hard on that. Yeah, that was I was working on it a lot this weekend, and then today I blew off like client work that I needed to do because I'm close. In fact, today it was yeah, I mean it is exciting. So I'll just make the announcement that I've started to get the voucher functionality, in there. And just a little bit before the meeting I had, a little breakthrough. So yeah, so that's very exciting. It's gonna be it's gonna be like definitely, in working order. It'll still be, an alpha version, but yeah, we're gonna be able to use it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna make the Notion, it's gonna make whatever was in Notion look like total crap. It's gonna make it look like Notion look like like a smoking turd on the ground.
Got him.
Well, you saw it the other week. Yeah, but now to be able to have the voucher functionality in there where you can just, hey, this is my offering. I'm putting it in the pool, and then I can just like redeem that and you have, your credit and yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Have you seen it
Yeah,
yet, Natalie? The app?
I got a super sneak peek. Yeah.
Okay,
The other
cool.
week it was just me and Rob in a meeting and I got to see bits of it. And yeah, I'm excited for my experience to grow in, yeah. It's like a whole new way of understanding value in work and exchange and interaction. So yeah, it's good. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, and part of what we want to do, right, is create, there's really like well, we've identified there's four.
Look at
Oh,
that fat head.
look
Looks like
at
a
that.
baby seal.
Yeah.
It's
Those big eyes. He's like, take me outside.
that dog's head is like as big as like our whole dog that we have here.
His name is Bane.
Oh no.
That's wicked.
Bane. Wow.
What's
Um,
the tiny dog's name?
Rob.
Pixie. Oh.
Oh, yours
oh,
is
there's a
really
Justin. There's also a tiny dog at Justin's. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Pixie and Bane. Oh man.
yeah, we have two tiny dogs over here. Justin over there, Justin. It sounds like there's like two big ones and one really little one. We just have like two little ones and a cat. What I like is that the two dogs and the cat are all the same size. So when they get together, it's just they're all the same size. So it's very fun. It's like it's very even.
That's great.
Yeah. So all right, well, I'm looking at the time. So, it's about 90 minutes. What we've said, um, what we have said is right is that the official meetings, are 90 minutes with an optional, 30-minute co-working time. A lot of times, that just turns into the continuation of the meeting or something that we're deep in. I mean, I do feel like we've hit, kind of a completion point from what we're talking about. So, the question is, do we want to do co-working? Is there, anything else? Justin, I know that you and Christine have a meeting set up, I think for later this week. So yeah, that'll be good. And I'm going to definitely talk to Christine, a little bit about that. And even though I think we're, generally know what we're at. So yeah, what do folks think? I mean, Christine, you and I could always do some co-working
Yeah,
because
I imagine we will be.
I think
I can spend
yeah,
like another hour of it. Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm about done with Zoom for today, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go curl up in a ball. I'm gonna,
Come
I
back to
gotta
your
do,
physical.
yeah, I gotta do some reading. I'm like make some turkey burgers, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I'm glad I came today. I wasn't gonna come. I was like, Rob, I'm done. And then Erica and Michelle came up and I was like, okay, I'm going. So it was it felt true. And you got to respond when life brings you something good. So I will talk to them today or tomorrow. I'll keep thinking about what we talked about today. I'll send them a message, let them know what we talked about. I'll get back to you. I don't like emailing, but I'll try my best to. So I may drop a voice note or I'll like record like a little video and send it via email. But sometimes it's hard for me to type out the right message. So I may just send notes.
Rob and I are on WhatsApp if you wanted to
Okay.
get us there.
I might just do something that way. But I
Yeah.
may just talk to Gemini and make it give you a message instead. So we'll figure it out. But I'll let you
Okay.
know. I'll let you know before the week's up. What's up? and other things too. I'll see you Sunday, Christine. I'll see you whenever I see you, Rob, probably next week. Natalie, what up, girl? I'll see you. I mean, I don't know, but we'll talk.
In the
We tend to do that.
ethers.
We tend to talk in the ethers.
In the
That's my check out. Thank
ethers.
y'all. Good
All right,
work.
that sounds like a
Yeah.
good plan. All right, yeah, that sounds good. Be in touch soon. Um, yeah, Natalie, what are you thinking?
Uh, I am, yeah, maybe have half an hour. I could do some just a, you know, work online if that's what you guys are up to. Just it's kind of like a shared workspace in the sense like we're just in the same space while working on our own things. Is that the idea? Or is it like, yeah.
Well, actually, I think we'll be talking a fair bit, so I don't know if that would bother you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it's Yeah, I mean, I think it could be, I think it could be both, right? I think it could be like, a lot of the intention was like it could be like co-working like on HSC stuff, so people, come like right like we have things we're working on, or it could just be like a co-working space. Oh, that's actually something to ask you. Um, Natalie, right? Christine, about like that, because you were one person who's mentioned like co-working. That's actually in our possible programming idea. So I don't know, Christine, do you want to just like check in with Natalie about that now since we're literally here?
Here.
And then,
Yeah, sure.
but the other thing that we could do is like, Christine and I could, whatever. I mean, I don't know if it's, we could go into a breakout room,
Or
um,
or I could just yeah,
or you could mute us or whatever.
yeah, if you don't, yeah. I don't
Um,
Yeah.
mind the talk if you guys don't mind me ignoring you.
no,
That's
no,
fine.
I'd love for you to ignore me. Um, but I will
It
be, I
sounds
will be.
funny, but for neurodivergent people, yeah, like having other people in the space can help an individual hone their own focus. Not necessarily like you, I don't necessarily have to be working on the same thing as you guys, but having like other people in the room can help complete a project. So yeah, like I would use the space to complete some of the research on the sites that were provided and whatever else. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, I wouldn't necessarily
Sure.
be
Yeah, that sounds
contributing.
perfect. I mean, that sounds great, right? Like work, yeah, that's just sort of whatever, people want to work on in whatever way. Yeah. Um,
And then, yeah, if there's something that comes up, we can chime in or do a final checkout or whatever feels natural.
yeah.
But
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna use the restroom and
Okay.
I'll be right back. And
cool. But yeah, what
Hmm.
was you had an idea about a co-workspace?
Well, Rob had mentioned your name along with, I think, Saya and Zoe, that you guys had potentially put your hands up in the past about hosting co-working sessions. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's something I would do for sure.
Okay, yeah. So we're just thinking about like the programming for the first 3 months of what happens after the launch party and looking at um, what's the options. So if there's a possibility that you might want to do that, say once a month, or some sort of cadence like that, that it could be, we could put that on the calendar.
Fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then um yeah, has it taken shape? Like, does it have a particular form that it's fitting in, or is it just kind of like if you have a project and don't want to work on it alone, or is it
Yeah.
like individuals doing their own stuff, or is it individuals looking for um, insight or
Hmm.
critical thinking from other people?
I think that the format would be really open. From what I've heard with what
Yeah.
Saya has done before, it some of them could be really long sessions where it's literally just people around each other. But also those other points you mentioned are really great. I think it depends on your desire and your capacity of what you would want to put into it. There's also the potential that it could be like something that butts up to another programming piece for HSC so that people are primed and maybe they've already like got that out of their system, and then they just do the work together and then have a check-in or like have some little touch points. So it
Nice.
depends what the feel could be for you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's something that I'm open to. And I mean, once a month is an easy
Hmm.
rhythm to get into, maybe. And yeah, it depends who and what the interest level is. I could see it being like once a or twice a month or something too. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
open to it.
potentially if Saya or Zoe could also do one once a month, then it would be like, yeah, twice a month would be a really
Right.
nice way of doing it, I think. And so you could add a little bit of a social element because I think that the whole goal would be that people who are remote workers can come somewhere and meet each other, but it wouldn't be a full-on community meeting. Could just be
Hmm.
like half an hour of like chat and catch-ups or something useful, and then the rest of it as you wish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Or like yeah, some kind of grounding meditation or helping people
Hmm.
increase their capacity for focus and then to practice applying it on whatever they're doing personally. Yeah, it's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
I'll be around.
Great. So would you be okay if I start emailing you about that
Yeah,
to
sure.
organize? Yeah, so we can get some dates and figure that out.
Sure.
Times.
Do you do you want my email? I don't know where it is in
Oh
the
yeah. I don't know if I exactly have
Hmm.
yours.
sure. I'll plug it in the chat for now.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, y'all. Yeah, that'd be great. We're trying to kind of like fill in, fill in the programming and I don't, I think Christine, we talked about if it was right, talked about like, okay, what's the first like 3 months of programming? And so,
Yeah,
and then
makes
seeing
sense.
how it goes, right?
Fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know, because it's great, even something like that, because I love, co-working and all that, but it's like you can only, even something right like that I think we'd say is fairly simple, still requires facilitation, right? There's still like, oh, okay, we gotta like, write up the thing and send out stuff to people, and then, somebody's gonna go and whoa, ask questions, and then, right, and like remind people and send, yeah, so and then show up, and
Yeah.
so it's still a thing.
Well, I think we could support with most of those other pieces around that. Like personally, I could support with the write-ups and the reminders and all of that.
Reminders.
So yeah, so it's easier for
Yeah.
people.
I also think there's a part of it that's, like this in this kind of decentralized way, right? Where
Mhm.
that's something that's, that's Natalie is offering, right? That's a community contribution. And, it's not
Sure.
like we
Yeah.
can't plug it into the email marketing, sort of reminders or stuff like that. But like that's community contribution, right? That Natalie, as much as, she wants to do, right, is offering. And then, right. And then if everybody, if somebody else has another offering, somebody else has another offering, right? Then I mean, I would imagine the more like, decentralized that the more feasible and scalable, it'll be.
That's true. Yeah. I guess I'm just babying this like first 3 months, like
Ah,
trying to
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
make sure something works.
Yeah, it makes
And I
sense.
just thought too, like that do we have an event calendar on the app?
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be an issue. I mean, right now, just like we're just using the Google Calendar, so I did put that up on the website, which
Yeah.
finally, I know finally, it's been like 5 days, but I
Yeah.
I imagine that can just be embeddable on the app. I mean, I do think that we could create a calendar, but and that might be like look nicer. But I think for now, just if we're able to embed that in the app, then just done, easy.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then, yeah, why don't we should we get started with our co-working session? And Christine, you and I can kind of jump into what we need to go over.
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I see a party popper from
I
Natalie.
might take a 2 minute break too, actually. I'll be back.
Sounds like a reasonable idea. All right.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Mm. Ah. Um, what's your status not coming up? Oh, because it's offering.
Yo.
Yo. All right. So let's jump into it. I'm starting to get kind of hungry, and so
Me too.
that yeah, so that means either, we'll have to be quick and efficient, or we'll have to take a break at some point and come back
Sure.
because I can feel myself, the kind of like the kind of hunger where my body starts to freak out and then I lose it.
Yeah. Mental clarity. Hey, do you want to stop the recording for this
Oh yeah,
part?
that's a good idea. Yeah, I don't suppose people need to see us co-working. Let's see.